and we can disappear never when you come to be. You didn't tell me you was recording now.
Sit down. I do my intro.
Oh, go.
What's up, guys? PFC Mist here. We're here with my boy PFC
Jones.
This is actually our box operator in our FDC. So basically, what you go to AIT for, he's doing the job, essentially. So I'm gonna ask him questions. We're gonna answer some questions. I went back in a video and the guy asked, "What's FDC?" That's the Fire Direction Center. He's inside of a vehicle known as a 1068. Basically, it's a armored vehicle, but it's basically just a cube with tracks on it. That's basically all it is. And so I'm not the box operator. There can only be one box operator, and that's usually the highest ranking. But our highest ranking people are pretty dumb, so they're not in charge of the box. So they got the PFC doing the specialist job, or actually the E5 job. So since you're the box operator, what is it actually like working with the chief and the FDO?
Working with the chief and the FDO, like, it can be stressful, but at the same time, it can be like, how can I put it? It's stressful and everything is like, it's kind of dramatic, but it's like, it's real. You get where I'm coming from? Because, like, let's say the fishers are talking and boom, you got to put that grid in right. And, if you don't put that grid in right, your chief is looking over you to see did you put that fucking grid in right. And if you didn't, obviously he's going to fuss at you. You got to get that shit right. If they're asking for 3 rounds, 4 rounds, and, their FDO would tell you, hey, it's going to be this amount of rounds, you got to make sure you put that in right as well. Because if you send the wrong shit down, a lot of shit can go wrong. So, like, it's, the box operator is basically the most important position. The chief is the highest position, basically.
And the FDO is the Fire Directions Officer. So if we're like FIDO, even though it's not FIDO, it's just FDO, we just say FIDO. I don't know why. It just has a ring to it, I guess. But, yeah, so it's stressful, most important job. Do you like it personally? Like, you've been doing it for how long now? Like, what, like 5 months, 6 months?
Yeah, about 5 or 6 months now.
Yeah.
No, wait, it's 9 months because I got it in January.
Oh, dang. Okay. And he's been through 2 field trainings. There's Iron Focus, which was 2 months long, and then we went to a hardcore training, which was TC, the National Training Center. So he's been through the closest thing we can get to real combat without actually going to real combat. And we haven't been deployed yet because some people ask, like, are we deployed, where we're deployed at? We're not deployed yet. We're about to go on a deployment. Everyone that's been to Korea says it's just vacation, so maybe it is, maybe not. We're going to do more training out there, and he's going to be primary box operator. So he's going to be mostly sitting at that chair the whole time. So
yeah, it's like a jailhouse.
So how was it when you went through NTC and Iron Focus being box operator?
NTC, well, let's start with Iron Focus. Iron Focus, of course, that was my first, like, actual field problem being the box operator. And basically, it's just the position. Well, of course, I passed my safety test, which allowed me to become the box operator. And it's just, you on the box, you're not sure, like, how everything's supposed to go. Because I remember my old supervisor, he would, certain stuff he'll say about the box, I had no idea what he was talking about. But of course now I know exactly what he's talking about. But it's like, the first field problem, basically, it was stressful. Because I didn't know what I was doing. I had no idea. I didn't know how to get up digital. I didn't know how to do much at all. I needed a lot of practice, basically. But Chief was by my side. And of course the FDO, they just do safety, so they don't know anything about the box. So it's just you and your chief, basically. Like, if y'all have a problem, it's up to both y'all to figure it out. Like, it's up to both y'all. And if you don't figure it out in time, then Battalion's gonna be like, well, you're too fucking slow, so we're gonna be like, okay, since y'all can't shoot it, we're gonna let another battery shoot it. And then that's when, like, problems get, like, really serious, basically.
Yeah. The safety test, because since you brought it up, I know the safety test, he knows the safety test, but I want to ask him, he's the box operator. So how difficult is the safety test?
That safety test, now, I'm not saying it's easy, but I'm not saying it's hard. It takes a lot of practice. Like, how you do math, it's easy, right? Mm-hmm. But, like, it has so many things you have to do. If you add one more number or take away one more number, then you end up with a wrong number. So that's like, safety is it's easy, but you can easily mess it up, like easily mess it up.
Yeah.
And it's only hard because it's so long to do one problem basically. And you have to make sure you do it right. Like the safety boxes, which is the safety box is the quadrants, which is these two numbers at the top and bottom, and the deflections, which is these two numbers on the left and right. If any of those numbers are messed up, basically you fail your safety test. I passed with a 96, but you can't get no lower
than 95.
95.
That's what the captain told me when I took it. I know originally back when the sergeant was telling us, he said 90, but the captain, when I took it, he said 95. I don't know.
I heard it was 80, but I don't know. Our battalion standards are one's here, one's here, one's here, one's there. Like, that makes no sense.
Yeah, it's not consistent in our unit what goes on, or our whole battalion actually. Like, some stuff is super high, and then other stuff is like low, and it's like, okay.
NTC was extremely stressful because a fire mission comes down anytime, anywhere. It doesn't matter. We could be moving, we could be sleeping. And I think my worst experience was that I was asleep. I went to sleep around, I think, 9. We had a move order at 10. We didn't get there till 1. And our shift for us to come hot, the hot FTC was at 2.
We're talking about AM, right?
Yeah,
because
yes.
they're going to be thinking in the
afternoon.
afternoon.
I should say military time. But like, yeah, that was really strange. I had multiple, you have multiple nights like that, staying up. And then like the part that's the worst, you know, let's say you got to do something small, like, you know, go take a piss. You got to put all your area, all the gear on, IOTV, full kit, just to go out. Because, you know, it's like actual war. You got to play like it's war, basically. Yeah. You know, you got your chief watching you because you have to type everything in right. You know, you got the fisters yelling at the RTO. But regardless if he gets it right or not, if you mess up, you got your chief looking at you. You got the evaluators outside. Like, you got an E7 looking at you. You got a captain. You got multiple captains looking at you. And it's a lot of pressure. And you just like...
Hardest position. Number 1 position.
Yeah.
Box operator. You know what you signed up for, 13 Juliet, baby? Or you could be like me and just be like setting up antennas on the outside and then chilling whenever he's in there. I'm just like, hey man, you doing good out there. You doing good. You doing
I'll work so y'all can sleep, right?
Yeah. But yeah. That's why, I guess that's also why it's like an E5 position, because you gotta deal with a lot of like super stressful stuff that they wouldn't expect junior enlisted to deal with. So it's like amazing. You're just private first class and you're doing all this crazy stuff, and a lot of people don't like realize it in section. But yeah, that's a crazy job. Like, it's insane. This is for the trainees going through AIT right now. What you're doing right now as the box operator, was it the same thing as the AIT boxes?
No. No. Only thing that is good in AIT that of course that you'll do right in real life, like now, of course, what we do is what is it called? The fire missions, like
the gumballs.
Yes, the green
those
gumballs.
Those are the only thing.
Green gumballs, the net. That's it. All that other stuff. Well, your geometries,
guidances, preferences.
Oh yeah, guidance and preferences. You will never touch that unless you're at battalion. But you got to be an E7 or higher to be at battalion or a captain. So you're not gonna touch those. But like ESNO, it's just straight fire missions. I'm telling you, it's fire missions. And then you're gonna come across times where like y'all first day where y'all had SINGARs, right?
Yeah, seeing the SINGARs radio.
The SINGARs radio, that will be useful. You'll understand that later, but that is useful. The fire missions are useful. Geometries are useful, and that is just about it. That's literally like those 3 things are your job: the SINGARs, the fire missions, and I forgot what the last one I just said. Well, troubleshooting. That's
why I had an issue with AIT when I came in. Like, I came in and I went to my first field problem, and I'm like, what are all these antennas and poles? Like, what is this?
Yeah.
And then everybody's like looking at me like, why aren't you setting it up? I was like, I don't know how to set it up. So AIT, you know, the guides and preferences, I feel like they should not put that in AIT. Have that for if you do become E7 and you're working at battalion. Have them go through that training, because they're gonna have to go through that again anyways. It's retraining. So they might as well introduce it as soon as you become E7 and you work at battalion. That's when you learn that. AIT focus on the three things you talked about: the radio, troubleshooting, and the gumballs. And those extra weeks, just throw the radio. I mean, not the radio. The antenna classes in there.
Yep.
Just set up the antennas. Have them do a test on that. I can't remember what was the standard, like 15 minutes or something like that.
15 minutes for 2 people
Yeah.
to set up an antenna.
Yeah. So just have that, like during what I say, beginning as well, like after radio.
That should be the first thing.
The first
honestly.
thing?
Yeah,
Antennas?
because when you first get your unit, that's the first thing they're gonna make you do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the first thing gonna make you do.
So yeah, learn antennas, radio, then go through the box stuff, but don't worry about setting that up because that's not really your job until you become a super high ranking soldier. Like it's just you're probably gonna forget it anyway by the time you hit that rank. So you might as well not learn it and then learn it when you actually get up there.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Because you're gonna learn a lot of stuff, and then the fact that people don't go to the field. I mean, that would suck going to the field in AIT. 'Cause you just did FTX, so like, I mean, it would suck, but then again, it'll be fun because you're starting to learn what you're doing, and I'm pretty sure anybody can relate to this. But whenever you're doing something right and you know what you're doing, then like it's not as bad as it was the first time.
Yeah. So that's all the information from the box operator, from the OE guy. We don't have our driver here, but when you're the driver, you just drive throughout the whole fucking night, throughout the day, you're driving. I mean, I should get Schultz to talk about the ROF. So I'll be like the next video. Next video, we'll talk about another position in the FDC. There's 5 positions, right? Box operator, chief, FDO, OE, and ROF. There's 5 positions, but there could be multiple people for those 5 positions.
Right. Oh yeah, like secondary. And
Secondary box operator and stuff like that. But we only have 5 people in our section. So.
You're a secondary box operator.
No, I'm not. So yeah, PFC Miss, PFC Jones here. Thanks for stopping by, hanging out, telling everybody what you do. Comment, rate, let us know what you think. Subscribe if you want. I'll see you guys on the next video. Might be in Korea too.